Warm greetings on behalf of Friday Waters, an initiative of the W4W Foundation, a think tank built as Citizens Collective. We welcome you to today's session. Friday Waters is a continuation of signature series Wednesdays for Water. The activities initiated as a series for Friday Waters include Water Talkies, Water Reading Club, Water Thesis Club, and Water Arts. Each of these sessions takes place once a month. The idea of Friday Water Arts is to bring water knowledge available in various forms at one place to highlight the opportunities and challenges related to water. The idea is to also increase the outreach of the alternate water practices in water networks as well as in the society at large. More details can be found at www.w4w.in. My name is Mansee Bal Bhargava, and I am the host for W4W today. And I am joined today for Water Arts session on Water Museum and the role of arts, which is hosted by Living Water Museums, and the session will be moderated by Dr. Sara Ahmed, who is also the founder of the Living Waters Museum. Sara has been a close friend and at the same time founder director, and she's also the professor at Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, which is ISER in Pune. And I just now hand it over to Sara to take the session further. Thank you so much, Sara, for organizing this and getting us the constellation of speakers to us at Friday Waters.
Great. Thank you, Mansee, and welcome, friends. I know many of you from the global network of water museums. Since Living Waters Museum has been running this Water for Arts series now for a few months with the W4W Foundation, I really don't need to introduce ourselves again, but you all know that we're a virtual museum, and we've been engaging a lot with the art world, both in terms of visual art and also music, songs, dance, and storytelling. But this is not about us this afternoon. This is about the friends, the guests I have from around the world. I have with us over here Emily from the National Water Museum of China in Hangzhou. I have Karin from the Danube World, which is the short form of your very long name, Karin, for your museum, in Austria. And I have Francesco and Alessandro here from the Hydro Museum in Italy, which actually I have visited too. I visited your museum and I visited the one in China. So, I mean, and they were really amazing visits. So what we're going to do this afternoon is have a round of a panel discussion with some questions that all the speakers have already had, and they may have some short presentations to make as they introduce their museum. But basically, the idea is to keep this going as a conversation. So in the beginning, I just wanted everyone to very briefly introduce their museum and what it does in terms of art. So I want to begin with you, Emily, please, if you can maybe. I hope Mansee's got your presentation to share. But Emily, can you tell us a little bit about the National Water Museum of China, which is such an impressive place, Emily? I mean, I live in India, which doesn't even have a National Water Museum yet. So tell us a little bit about the museum and about the work you've been doing with art and with young people to convey key messages around water. Emily, over to you, please. Oh, Emily, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, so thank you, Sarah, and it's a pleasure to be here to share with you about our museum. So the National Water Museum of China is a national level of water-themed museum. So our focus of the exhibition is about the long history of the Chinese water management and a lot of the water heritages that discovered in China. And also we have many educational activities. So as you know that China is a country with vast territory, and also the water distribution is quite uneven. So water management is very important to the Chinese government, to the Chinese since long ago. So water management is as a top priority for every emperor for every dynasty. So we think that water to raise people's water awareness is very important. So our museum has carried out many educational activities, and by educating people, we want to not simply tell them what is water. So what is the water distribution of China? We want to combine water and many other disciplines, or we call it water and a broad sense of arts together to educate people. So that's all, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Mansee, we can't open Emily's presentation, I guess. Mansee, you're
Sara,
also...
we can once you say, because I thought this is an introduction round. So do you want it to be played now?
Maybe in the next round, Emily can share her presentation. Is that okay with you, Emily? In the round?
Okay, so okay.
Yeah, so we have a little bit. So I'm moving over to Austria now and to Karin. Where are you on my screen? Karin, can you tell us a little bit about the Danube World? I know you have a video. Would you like us to see it now? Karin, where are you?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say good morning to everybody. I want to thank you for the invitation to this online meeting and the possibility to talk about water and arts and about our water museum, the Danube World. The Danube World is a mixture of nature park and exhibitions with different stations, which all have to do with water and the river Danube. So, and I want to begin with a video because it shows a lot of our water adventure mini Danube, which is one of the stations. And it also shows how children can enjoy themselves in this outdoor nature park. So before I say more, I think we could see the video because it's somehow self-explaining.
Okay, great. Thank you, Karin. looks like so much fun, Karin. It's not your conventional understanding of a museum, but it's so colorful.
Yeah.
Do you want to say
Yes.
anything else, Karin?
Yeah, the video, I mean, it was a bit too slow. Usually the motions and the sounds go a bit better together. And you've seen that also the video is kind of art, because it's a mixture of painting art, sounds. You could hear the sounds of the children, the sounds of the bees, the sound of the water and everything all together. So also the video is kind of an art thing. And I think it gives a good impression of what is so joyful in our leisure park. But the leisure park is only one part of the Danube world. There is also an exhibition about Danube stories. The exhibition Danube Stories tells a lot about the history of our town in combination with the Danube. There is also an exhibition at our power plant station. That's a big water power plant, which belongs to Austria and to Germany. And along the way, there are also different exhibitions, and they all belong to our Danube world. So, and mostly the water adventure mini Danube is mostly for families and children, mostly for schools. So, for example, last year we had about I forgot to tell, the mini Danube is only open from 1st of May to 30th September, which means our opening times are only 5 months, which is not long. And we had about 7,000 visitors last year. And out of these visitors, we had about 25 schools, elementary schools, with about 400 pupils. And in combination with art, we offer them, for example, tree trunks without bark, so they can paint the trunks and, for example, create mermaids and water ghosts, which we then install around the Danube Delta. Or, for example, last year we freshened up our selfie picture point. That is a mermaid family. And this year we want to refresh our flags, the flags of the 10 Danube countries, which are painted on stones in a round circle in the mini Danube. And this circle is used as a fireplace. And some schools also create small wooden boats in the crafts class. And then they try them in the water of our mini Danube. So these are some examples how water and art can be combined in our exhibition Mini Danube.
Great. Thank you, Karin. I'm going to come back to you later on. But
okay.
I'm going to move to Italy. And Francesco and Alessandro are both here, I think. We're co-founders of the Hydra Museum, which tells the story of this amazing ancient waterfall dating 2,000 years ago, well, when it started. And they have also used a variety of digital media, virtual and AR and other tools in creating this story of the waterfall. Alessandro, Francesco, I don't know which one of you are going to present or talk, but please.
Hello, everybody. I think I'm going to speak first, okay? And so thank you for your invitation. It's a very pleasure. It's a big pleasure to be here with you and to present our presentation of our places. That is the Marmore waterfall. Can you see it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. This is our beautiful landscapes, and this is the one of the highest waterfall in Europe, and it's so unique because this landscape is artificial. It's made by humanity, and is made a long time ago because it was made by Romans. So we have this extraordinary history, and we made this multimedia museum to explain and to engage the people to this story, because it's so amazing. And because the waterfall was made 2000 years ago, but is now still now in the middle of a big system of water management to make power with the hydroelectric power plant. So you can see in the red circle the waterfall, but the territory is so big, and is all managed by the water power plant. The waterfall too is open and closed by the power plant. So we made this museum that we don't have pieces, art pieces, or painting, something like that. We have just the story, and we started from the myth of the monster Hydra, that is so it's so engaging the person, and we made an immersive experience made by installation like video mapping, augmented reality, and the using of an app on the smartphone, and all is made to engage the visitors and to transmit the contents of the museum with more power. Okay, and we work a lot with the school for the children, of course. We had like 14,000 visitors this year, and many schools are coming to visit it. I'm sorry about that. I didn't want to interrupt. Okay, but I want this. Okay. And now we want to go forward with our educational program, and because we have the waterfall, we have a place of with a beautiful landscape, with a beautiful nature, and this museum could be a good place to make a center for education for sustainability. So we are working on it. We made 2 forums on water theme, on water culture, and we are starting the 3rd edition. So what we want to make is something big, something we want to make a change altogether with this place for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro.
Excuse me, Sara, may I add something?
Yes, of course, I was coming to you, Francesco.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Francesco, please.
Just to thank you for everybody. Good morning, everybody. Hello, Karin. It's a long time we met you in Terni, and our museum is a young one. Sara said that before. We have 2 years in our history, and at the beginning we had to build up our museum, and the first step was that, and the second one is to go forward in educational and to do something about art. So thank you, Sara. We are really very proud to be part of that team, and we want to share our experience, and we want to have your support and your ideas to do something together. So thank you, and clap, Sara, as usual.
It's okay. Thanks, Francesco. But this is not about me right now. Let's move on. I have a second round of questions for all of you. And I'm going to start with you, Karin. So, given that all of us over here are part of this global network of water museums, what kind of support do you think actually, before I get into that one, what kind of impact do you think we're having as water museums when we use art? Is there any way of measuring? I mean, I know that's a question we are asked all the time. Is there any way of measuring impact? And what kind of impact are we looking at through art? I mean, are we looking at changes in people's water conservation behavior? Are we looking at changes in people's value systems when they think about water from so many different lenses? What are we trying to seek when we use the art? Are we sort of getting to people's emotional core? So I just wanted to hear from you a little bit. And I know you're also an artist, Karin, and you've been painting on these beautiful waterfalls. You can show us your art as well, but I know it moves you. And I think, Francesco, you're a singer. You're also a budding artist. I don't know about Alexandra. But yeah, but you go first, Karin.
Okay. I think as a water museum, we can have an enormous impact, especially on children, and especially when we include them to create something with water and arts, something lasting. So something that will stay longer than only one day or so. You know what I mean. For example, in our exhibition Danube Stories, we've asked 5 artists to create something concerning the history of our town in combination with the river Danube, together with the pupils of our elementary school. So, and we had 5 artists. One was a textile artist, and she created waterfall curtains for the windows of our building of the exhibition, together with the children. They also made a new dress for our mermaid Isa, which lives in the Danube. There was also a painting artist, and they painted the Danube landscapes. Then there was a wood artist, and he made wooden boats with the children. And there was also a clay artist, and he made models of our Trappist monastery. And the point is, and the success of this is, that the children who are now grown-ups always come back to this exhibition and show their friends and families what they have created when they were pupils, because they're proud of it. And I think if we can help as a water museum to create art which lasts, that can be help. That can help to strengthen the binding between people and water and arts. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
So that was an example how a water museum could work with artists together and create something new and create something with water and arts.
Okay. I'm going to come back to Alessandro and Francesco. How do you think that as water museums, what kind of an impact? I mean, you mentioned how many visitors you had, but what kind of an impact do you think we have when we use the art, and how effective is it? And do you have any markers for measuring that kind of impact? Before I let you speak, I was reminded by Mansee that I have to say hello from all of us to everyone watching us on YouTube. I believe there are a lot of people over there. So welcome. I'm sorry I didn't say welcome earlier, but Farah Kabir, I believe you're there from Bangladesh. So hi to you. Great. Please go ahead, Alexandra, Francesco.
I would like to say that one thing that two things we saw of the impact on the young generation. That is when we transmit, when we expose this story. The meaning is one meaning is that everything is connected, and water is connecting everything. Okay, so water is something that connects creative arts, engineer, and story and technology and nature, everything. And they feel like they are here not just to know that they have to close the water when they clean the teeth, okay? But water is everywhere, and it's a theme that is connected to everything. And another thing is that we are part of something bigger than our time, okay? Because we live in our time, but we have to think about what we take from the past, and that we have to leave something for the future. So be part of a big story is something strong for the young generation. It's very motivating. That's what I think.
Thank you, Alexandra. Francesca, do you want to add anything at this point or in the next round? Francesco?
Sorry, no, we have always some problems with my microphone. You know, as I said before, for us it's something new, and we are. It's so important to be linked to other museums that can help us in our path. Could be for us. It's really very important. Educational is the center of our target. And so, and art could be a very useful tool to get the goal we are looking for. So at the moment, with students, we have a lot of students. I don't remember exactly the number, but I think it's about 3,000 per year. Alessandro, can you confirm it? Of course, to talk to new generations, we have to use a form very easy and very clear to give emotion to our new children. And I'm very. I think it could be really very important for us, but personally, I have to learn a lot about that. So very humble. That's my personally my approach to that problem. But that's the reason why I'm so proud and to be a part of that team. So we can do something together.
Thank you, Francesco. Emily, I'm coming to you now. So, you know, what kind of an impact do you think we can have, or that we're having as water museums when we use art? And I know that you've been doing a lot of work with youth for water, as well as with soundscapes and music and poetry. So would you like us to, Mansee's asked whether we can play your presentation, Emily? And you would like to unmute yourself, please, Emily?
Okay, so yes, please open my slides.
Yeah. So we give you some time. Great. Go ahead, Emily, and just tell us when you want to.
Okay, so you can see that. Okay, so please look at the first slide. So you can see this is the the overview of our museum. You can see our museum actually is at ecological park, so very beautiful. And our museum actually has taken on many educational activities, especially we have different levels of our, we divide our visitors into, or our targeted visitors into different levels. So first, would you please turn to the next slide? Okay, so when we talk about water, we know water is transparent, it's odorless, it's tasteless. So actually, for a lot of us, water is something abstract. So how to make make water into a real substance in our life, to have let our visitors have a real impression of water. So we must combine water with something that our visitors like. For example, for our young children, we must let them know that water is something that they can play with. So you can see the picture. So in our museum, we have some education activities to let those children to make some boat, toy boats, and let the boats flow on the water, so they can know that water is something that can flow, and also something related to their life, that when they take a boat, that is how the water is is functioning. So this is let those young visitors. And also next slide, please. So also we want to make that let our visitors know that water is something that we can listen to. So we have the WaveFlow project. So this is a project that we initiated in last year. So we ask people all around the world to so you can see this the websites. So you can find the websites. This is you can log on the websites through your mobile phone. So this is it's adapted to the mobile phone. And we ask people all around the world to upload some the sounds of related to river, and the sounds a lot is not limited to the natural sounds, but also something related to literature. For example, in your own country, you have some literature or passage or novels that is related to a river, to a specific lake. So we ask people all around the world to upload their sounds, water sounds. So I recommend our participants today to visit our websites, and also you can listen to those sounds and also natural sounds along different water basins. And also you can see at the right side, actually, this is an exhibition we had last year. So this exhibition is Listen to the River, the Sound Drift. So we have this, we recorded these sounds, and when you go to the board and touch the button, you can listen to different sounds of different rivers in different parts of the world. So by doing this, we want to make something concrete impression of water in people's minds. And also, would you please turn to the next slide?
The next slide,
Okay, so in this part, we also want to create an impression in our audience that water is something that related to our history, is something that you can do research on. So in this activity, we call it International Youth River Dialogue. So we encourage university students all around the world to participate in our activity to explore a specific river, to explore the history, the economy of the local community related to a specific river. So by doing this, that we hope those young, especially those university students, they can have a more deeper understanding of how river interacts with our society. So this is so just now this is the some activities we did in our museum. So as to the question of Sarah, just now you mentioned how the arts, we can use arts to influence more people. So I think that so we can combine different aspects of arts. For example, we can use songs, we can use literature, we can use history, and also we encourage young students to act those, we call it water dramas, so water theater. So those young children, they play in the water drama, and to call people to save water. And also this is very important. I think that our targeted audience, like those young kids, are very important, because especially in modern China, those kids are always at the core of their family. So when the kids, they have they raised their water awareness, the whole family would be influenced, because those children, they always told their grandparents. So in the museum, we have learned something. So they can pass on their knowledge to the old generations. So we think that a young generation is a very important targeted audience for our museum. And also, so this doesn't mean that we do not pay attention to the old, the senior audience. So in our museum, we also have some activities that is targeted to those old generations. For example, we have some old pictures taken in the past, and ask those people to come to visit our exhibition of those pictures. This will remind them of those years that they have no access to the running waters. They have to go a long way to get to fetch water. So by doing this, they when they now they have running water, so they would think that, oh, this is very precious. We have to cherish the water. So by doing these activities, we can substantially raise people's water awareness. So that's all, Sarah.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily. That was really interesting. Maybe we can get back into the gallery view right now, because I'd like to open the floor up to questions. Emily raised a lot of really interesting points about engaging children and youth and elderly in using many different media around water. And I really like the idea of sound. And you also mentioned water drummers. And I was thinking, I know in Vietnam there was theater in the rice fields and the paddy fields. They used to do theater around water in the rice fields. So I've never been to Vietnam, but I think that practice is still happening somewhere. Anyway, we've had some really interesting insights, some really interesting media around art that is being used in different museums. And at this point, I just wonder if there are any questions from anyone in the audience. You can raise your hand and maybe we can go back into the gallery view so I can see everyone. Yeah. Any questions? Mansee?
Yes, please.
Are there
Thank
any?
you so much.
Yeah.
Yes,
Are
there are a couple of questions in the chat box. Maybe it's about the link and all, so we can take them. And I'm going to check the YouTube. Yeah, I'm going to
And
check the
Emily,
YouTube.
people are asking you to share the link, if there is any, for the youth festival, the youth river festival.
Yeah.
So the International Youth River Dialogue, right?
Yes.
Yes.
If you
Okay.
can add that
So
link
I
in
will.
the chat box. Yeah. Can you access
Actually,
the chat box or you can't?
I will share it from
okay,
the PowerPoint
I will.
that I have.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mansee, good try.
So yeah, thank you.
I will
Thanks
answer the
for the
question in the chat box.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Are there any questions from people who are watching us, Mansee, on YouTube?
Yes. I'm going to check, but first of all, I'm very intrigued to ask questions, and you
Mansee,
know the
you have
reason
to
why.
ask last, so
Yes.
you wait for a minute.
Okay, thank you.
I'm still moderating this.
I know. Thank you so much. Let me just check YouTube and come back to you. Okay.
But if anyone has a question, please, use the emoticon to raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm going to ask my speakers one last question. And my last question to all the speakers was basically, if we were to scale up our work with engagement in the arts and as a global network, what is it that, or where is it, and what is it that you think you need support with? Do we need more collaborative projects? Do we need funding? Of course, we need funding, learning and capacity building programs, other opportunities. What is it that you think all of us need in order to scale up our work with the arts? And this time I was going to actually begin with our friends from Italy. Do you have any ideas? I know you mentioned teamwork, Francesco, and I know you're working with us, but I don't know if you have any other ideas, like if we were to scale up our outreach. And Alessandro, you mentioned some things about setting up a center for education and water and sustainability, right?
Yeah, we have an important history for the connection between arts and landscape, because this waterfall were big was very important during the Grand Tour period. So was a place where artists and philosophers and a lot of foreigners people came here to visit and to take a painting about that. So we believe that the sustainability, the water, the heart is something that make us connections. So we have to, of course, find the funding before of it, but we have to continue with this will of collaboration and interaction between different countries, different cultures, because I think this is the main road to make a good place for the nature and art.
Thank you, Alessandro. Francesco, or you want to add?
Yeah, just to have my point of view, and I'm a poor civil engineer, and my vision is always linked to the concrete or something solid. I don't know if it could be possible to make the first step in our path. It's very interesting, and I hope to do something together. And I don't know if it could be possible to plan one I don't know one movie or something to share in our different countries, in our different museums, to have to finance, to support the something to a common I don't know how to say. I don't know what kind of product we can do it. Something to have in I don't know, several months to be shared in our different countries and different museums. I don't know. For instance, one movie or one picture or something, to be something the result of the production of different countries and different point of view on sensibilities. I don't know if I was clear enough.
No, I think you were saying, and we've talked about this earlier, that you were talking about whether we can share resources or images or audiovisual resources as well between our museums, and to create that international space across political boundaries, right? Something around that. There is a question in the chat box, and I just want to quickly answer that before I hand over to you, Emily and Karin, just to share what your last thoughts may be. But someone asked about how do we link the work that we do to core values with children, and how can these be translated into actual, conservation of water, etc. And last year, the Living Waters Museum, with partners and a project led by my colleague Chavi Mathur, worked on developing a pedagogy on water classrooms that was based on the foundation studio on water at Ahmedabad University for all undergraduate students joining. And the curriculum is divided into 4 modules that go from water and myself, so our bodies, health, all our daily needs related to water. Then our shared waters, so water and access to water, discrimination, gender, caste, those kind of issues. How do we share waters in a collective good? And then looking at water and systems. So where does my water come from? Where does my water go? How is water used in terms of, I think someone's mic is on. How is water used in terms of agriculture and other industrial uses, and also systems and sustainability and the planet. So also things like the ocean, for example, or biodiversity and water and wetlands. So this curriculum, I've shared the link to it. It's there. And we're now looking at ways of expanding and extending it. But I know there are colleagues of mine who are watching, like Sukrit Sen from Calcutta, who does a lot of work with schools over there, and also takes children for heritage walks around water. So I think all of us are doing that work. Making something into a curriculum is a little bit more of a task, but the one that we shared with you, that was developed with educators and tested with school children in Pune over 3 months. Every Sunday, we had a 3-hour interactive workshop on one topic with children for 3 months. And we also assessed learning outcomes from that. So all that information is on the website that I've shared. And we're extending this kind of project now to Burkina Faso, working in West Africa. And also the global network is looking at building a repository of learning and educational resources on water that will be an open access one. And I think UNESCO is also trying to do something like this on water and education for kids. So there's a lot happening, but we don't want to be reinventing the wheel. So there are a lot of good ideas in different museums and with different agencies. And I think we need to bring those together in some kind of a repository which is accessible to everyone and recognizes diversity and language issues and also accessibility issues. You know, we We do work with children who are mentally challenged, who are visually impaired or hearing impaired. And I think we need to think of resources that also reach out to children who come from different backgrounds and have different physical and mental capacities. And I think that's really important for us in the work that we do as well. So I've talked a lot. Let me hand over to Emily and to Karin in whatever order you want. But just some last words as to how do you think we can scale up our engagement with art? And then Mansee, you take over after that because I have to leave. Emily, since I can see you on the screen.
Okay, so Sarah, thank you for the question. I think that is a very good question, especially for museums as members of the global network of water museums. So I think that so the projects like I Remember Water was a very brilliant project. So I do hope that in next years, in the following years, we could start another this pilot projects. Yeah, so I do so in last year or recent I do think that maybe as just now you mentioned, you are also very interested in the sound WaveFlow, the sound projects, right? So I think that maybe in next years or in the following years, in the following days, we could maybe enlarge the influence of the websites and to deepen the projects. So ask more people, more members to contribute to the websites, and also we can have like just now I mentioned, we also made exhibition of the sound drifts. So maybe when we initiated a project, we are expecting more more results from these projects. So we hope that I Remember Water we could deliver more of results, and also I hope that the sound drift projects maybe we can enlarge the influence, and also we can consider how to let the sounds drift to more places of the world. Maybe yes, maybe we can have a discussion and in the Portugal when we met this October, right? Yeah.
Right. Okay. And also something you said, Emily, about the bringing the elderly to see these pictures from the past about the hardships associated with the collection of water. So we've been wanting to a lot. I mean, some of us have been talking about this for a long time, but to look at the world of women, water, and work globally. You know, because a lot of the water fetching and collection has been women's work. And in I Remember Water, and in something, Alessandro, you shared an image recently with me as well about women washing clothes in public spaces and, you know, going to a well or a river. And this is happening in all our villages in India still, in many places. And I'm sure in China, there are also community places where women may come together over water. I don't know, but
yes, yes, we do have these pictures, and also last year we had the exhibition about on the in Beijing, and also so in the exhibition we exhibited some pictures with those women. They did their laundry at the riverbank. Yeah,
right.
Those old memories. Yeah.
Yes. So, but it's also women's unpaid work, and there's no way that women, you know, we can monetize that kind of work. And so I think there's lots that we can learn from things like that. But I want to hand over to Karin for your last words. Karin, where are you?
I'm here. I want to follow up the idea of Francesco. I almost had the same idea, but not talking about a movie. I had a song in my mind. I think it would be wonderful if we could create one artwork as a symbol for our global network of museums. That could be a song, for example, or a movie, as Francesco said. Something that combines us, something we all could use as a symbol. I know we have a logo, but it's not the same.
Logo.
But yes. And also want to say something concerning sustainability. I told you, Sarah, that we want to build a SDG building. It's already created somehow. It will be a building like a family house with an entrance, with a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom, a children's room, and everything. And all the rooms are combined. I don't know if you can see. They are combined with all the 17 SDGs. But all we need, the plans are done, but we don't have the money. So we need funding. As you mentioned, Alessandro, we need funding to actually build this building. So, but we also, I think sustainability is something very, very important for all of us. And so that's why we had this idea. And my last word is, Sarah, you asked me to show the painting also to Francesco because he hasn't seen it. Where's he gone? Ah, here he is. Okay. So, Francesco, my first painting of your wonderful Marmara waterfalls, but it's not finished yet, okay? And I will do more.
When you come to Umbria, to the next Villa.
Can you add me in the picture? I don't know, somewhere.
I'll try. Okay.
I'm kidding, of course.
Okay, everyone. I want to thank you all for your extremely valuable contributions, including the art, including the presentation, the music, the little films, and everything else. I'm going to hand over to Mansee because I actually have to go for a concert. By the way, it's 75 years of India's Republic Day or thing. So, you know, that's something we're all celebrating. But Mansee, please go ahead now. The floor is yours, and I'm going to take everyone's leave, but I'll connect with some of you later.
Thank you. Thanks, Sara. And thank you, Emily, Karin, Francesco, and Alessandro. If I have pronounced your names correctly, pardon me if I have not. First of all, thanks for the wonderful conversation, especially that it was flowing like water. That's most important. So, and especially no technical hiccups. Now, I want to bring to you some information before I pose my question. So today I'm in Bangladesh and heading towards actually looking at the community-led water museum in Bangladesh, which was led by ActionAid and Farah Kabir. Some of you know her, the ActionAid director, and I'm her guest to see the water museum here in Bangladesh, only water museum which is community-led in Asia. So very proud to visit that. Now, that's the point where I am today. Now, the second point is that in India, in 2018, there was a circular from the national government to have water museums, physical water museums across every state. So we have 31 states. Now, given that situation, and that was the time when I started knowing Sara, to be honest, and Living Waters Museum was already there as a virtual water museum. She had started with it. So we started playing with the idea of doing some advocacy with different governments to have physical water museum. And that's the reason we are actually having this discussion today, primarily because of my visit to physical water museum in Bangladesh and the one which I am trying to do. So in India, we have now managed to convince 2 states to have water museums. So that discussion is going on. But the difference is that these are going to be state-led water museums. So the state government is engaged in coming up with water museums. And the one which is in Ahmedabad, which will be city-led water museum, which is basically in all the three places, we have now identified land. The program is there, but again, the funding issue is going to come up later on. My question to you, first of all, so we are still not done, by the way, for today. So my question to all of you is that how do you see the partnership of doing this kind of projects where community is building this kind of knowledge space vis-a-vis where state has a hand in building a museum? You know, I mean, we have state museums, national museum, archival museum, historical museum, all kind, naval museum. These are state-led. But do you think water museum is more community affairs, or it is better that government has a clearer roles, at least the funding aspect is not a hiccup? And how should we go about in doing water museums in India? So that's a little bit of brainstorming. I'm looking for just few lines about your thoughts. How did you start about water museums? Because I think it's me and Sara who have been pushing for the physical water museum in India. And Sara's work on virtual water museum is the foundation of advocating physical water museum. Do I make my question clear, or it's too many words from my end? How do we want to go? Shall we start with Alessandro? Because I see him unmuted. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. We started from the story, okay, and we started from our passion, because
Okay.
we were so involved in this story, in this project, so we wanted to see it realized. And I think first of all, you have to think that you need a physical place, because the museum is not the exhibition, it's a place where
Yes.
something happens, you know.
Yes.
So you can do a lot of activities. It's a place to work with. It's a container. It's a box. Okay, that you have to make it full of things.
Yes.
That's my
So,
opinion.
so did you had any experience of working with the government in operationalizing the project? Maybe I ask this question to Francesco for your project. I mean, so that everybody gets some to speak something. So, any kind of interaction on operationalizing this project or conceptualizing you had with the government? Francesco, would you like to add something here, or it's completely independent of the government intervention? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, okay. No, let me think about that. And at the moment, the real problem is funding, as you know. For the rest, we are really about the music of Karin proposal. I'm really happy to do something together. We have two different problems, according to me, to how to share our experiences. So different for different cultures and different heritage, and how to finance all of our projects based in different countries. How to that's my opinion, and that's my role in that. Could be my role in that, in building up the team. I think we can do something in that field. For the rest, I'm really ready to do everything you're going to proposal.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. Karin, any interaction, any support you sought beforehand, or you are seeking now, or you are getting now? Maybe it will be a good idea how if you are collaborating with the government.
Well, I can say that our Danube World started 20 years ago with the first exhibition. That was the Danube Stories I told you before. That was the first part of the Danube World. And over the years, the Danube World grew. So, for example, The mini Danube came in 2012, and that was a project funded by the European Union.
Okay.
And in 2016, we could add the aquarium that was also funded by the European Union. So, the idea of having a Danube world grew because Engelhartszell is next to the Danube. So our town is connected to the Danube. So, yeah, that was only a question of time when we wanted to do an exhibition about life with and on the river Danube. So, and the Danube World is run by our municipality. So it is run by the community. And that makes it easier, I would say, especially in Europe, to get funding of the European Union. And what more, we live next to the border of Germany. So many projects we have are Interreg projects, European funded projects with Germany.
Wonderful.
Because we also share the river Danube. When I always tell it that way, when I look across the river, I look directly into Germany. So you see, we are very close to the German border. So it's easier for us to get European funding. Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. Emily, would you like to share some thoughts or light on the role of government in facilitating or in, supporting this kind of initiative?
Thank you, Mansee. So I think that's to get the government funding is very important for initiating a new museum. But I think that the funding is country specific. I'm not sure about the situation in India. But in China, the government, yes, supports our museum and provide all the funds. Okay. So in return, we have to do some projects. So for the our educational activities are all free of charge for those teenagers. So the admission to the exhibition to our museum is also free of charge. So if you want to initiate it, start a museum. So first you have to have to convince the government that the museum has played a role in raising people's awareness. So this is very important to convince the decision makers. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think I understand the points raised by all of you, and to be honest, in India, it is at this moment initiated by the government, because we reached out to few states mentioning that there is this provision by the central government. So we reached out to state governments that this provision is there, and if their state would like to have water museums, and so far we have managed to at least reach out and convince 2 states and 3 states, I must say, our own state, Gujarat and Ahmedabad, we have convinced. It's just now a matter of time how things are going to be mobilized, and we may see a light of the day in coming years when we are going to have physical water museums. And with these words and optimism, I am really looking forward to having more conversations with all of you, so that we can really have this network of museums, as rightly mentioned in the conversation today, to strengthen the whole idea of water education in various ways. And this year, I also had a chance to look at a water pedagogy at NID, where students actually worked on taste of water, nostalgia about session, I would like to announce a very important message to all of you. We are heading towards our water festival, which is happening at IIT Banaras Hindu University in Varanasi on 16th and 17th of February. All are invited, those who are listening to us, to attend the festival. We have our information posted to most of you, but our new speakers will get the invitation now. And besides that, next Wednesday, which is on 31st of January, we have our Wednesdays for water. And this is going to be the last session for season 3 of our water conversation series. And the session is on the NID course, which I just mentioned on water matters, where there were many themes which students explored, and they talked about the importance of water in everyday life. So that's January 31st. And with that, we will close the session season 3 of our water conversations. And we will have water festival in February, and we'll take a break in March. And then we will restart from April with all our water conversations planned. Thank you so much. We also reach out to 250 water conversations, which makes us the longest water conversation ever happened. So we are really proud. And at this point in time, I would like to thank all my team members who have made it possible, and all the 350 plus speakers who have come on our platform and spoken about water through their heart. And because of them, these conversations have been made meaningful. So thank you so much, all of you. Please take care of yourself, and we meet each other outside this conversation, and keep continuing our conversation on water conservation and management, and definitely led by the people, for the people, and of the people. Thank you so much, all of you. Please take care.